Welcome to Thank God You're Not My Child. Remember, it's a comedy podcast where I talk about whatever I want to. And this week, we're going to talk about Alaska. I know, I know, I know. I've talked a little bit about it, but now I want to tell you about it. First of all, beautiful as you've heard. Those pictures you see in books of Alaska, I don't think they do it justice. It is the most beautiful place I've ever seen, especially going up towards Denali. Whew, that's all I can say. Of course, it doesn't hurt that I also got married on Friday the 13th. Yes, officially Mrs. Evancliff. Okay, that's a whole nother story. But there were some things that I noticed in Alaska. First of all, driving around in Anchorage, um, to see it was a dreary day. It was sprinkling. Of course, I thought it was perfect because I'm a sprinkling fall girl. Ooh, it's kind of chilly. Let's start a fire, that kind of girl. And so it was, I didn't even have a jacket on, if that tells you it was perfection. And no hot flashes because I was slightly chilly. Yeah, maybe I was born for Alaska. Maybe. Maybe. Well, these kids have got rain gear on and they are outside playing. And I thought about if it was this temperature, maybe 45 degrees, almost no wind that day, just a beautiful sprinkle, there would probably be no kids here, Oklahoma, Missouri. Probably wouldn't be any more kids outside playing. People would say, "Oh, it's too cold." And that was a difference I seen. You know, in Oklahoma, it'd probably been everybody inside. You're fixing your chili or your dumplings and your homemade macaroni and cheese and okay, I think we might be hungry. Okay. Hey, mom, I'm pretty sure you listened to this. And when I come there in a couple of weeks, I need some macaroni and cheese. Your macaroni and cheese. Your macaroni and cheese, Mom. Okay, so got a little sidetracked. That's okay. Let's bippity bop back. Let's see. The kids. Teachers were out. They were running and playing. Rain boots, rain gear. But those kids were outside playing. It was pretty cool to see. And then to drive through neighborhoods and, 'cause, my sister-in-law, my new sister-in-law, shout out Sierra, thank you. She's a wonderful host. She has a really cool place there in Anchorage, and, some of you guys around Anchorage might know her. She might be doing your hair. She's pretty good hairstylist there, so shout out to my sister-in-law, Sierra. Uh, got to meet her, and she's pretty awesome. And I'll take a pretty awesome sister in law because those are rare to come by. I've always wanted one, but you know, it doesn't always work out. And finally it did. And look at me getting off track again. But okay, we went to her best friend's house, and I noticed a family had was out walking their kid in this weather. And I'm like, oh, I don't think you'd see too many in Oklahoma. So there's huge uh, difference in what is cold and what is not cold, if that makes sense. Which I think should be a little different. So I did notice that. Another thing was all of the plane trips there, any kids that were there, there was just the kids were just wonderful on the way there. No screaming fits, nothing out of the normal. Cause, You're gonna have a baby crying, you're gonna have a 2-year-old upset. Those are just normal things that happen. But we did on the way home on the last plane, we had a baby that was throwing a fit for about 20 minutes. And, I'm like, babies do that, no big deal and all. And you're like, I looked back and I thought, well, he doesn't look that little, but, you never know. And he finally quit and all. And at the end of the flight, I heard him, like, making full sentences, and I'm like, "Oh, he probably wasn't a baby." So, maybe first time flying, because that first 20 minutes of an airplane, your ears can go popping, and it can be a little scary. So, really nothing too unnormal. We got really lucky, really, I think we did. I know one of the flights, they said that any strollers or any babies get on, and there was none on one flight, and people clapped, and I went, "Oh, yeah." If you remember on season one of my first episodes, we talked about flying with babies and what's tolerated and shouldn't be tolerated. 8 hours of a screaming flight of a 3.5-year-old shouldn't be tolerated. Just saying. Go back and search that one out and listen. You'd think I could remember when, but it was season one. Season one's red, first 30. Second, season two, yellow. Season three, oh, this is the first episode of season three, episode 60. It's gonna be blue. Yeah, somebody has to keep track. My producer's not doing too well keeping track with some of this stuff and making sure the sound, the quality, and stuff. Sometimes he's just fucked up. But I'm not going to say he's not here today. Shh. Because, Chuck, he can be a little temperamental and you don't really want to say anything wrong. So he's doing great. Producer's doing great. He's doing great. So, so a lot of families out doing things instead of just, oh my gosh, it's 45 and raining. I did notice on the train to Denali, I don't think I saw any kids whatsoever. Uh, yeah, none. No little kids whatsoever. It was kind of like I might have been one of the youngest ones on this train going to Denali. I'm 55, if that tells you anything. It was a great trip. The food was good. We closed, if you don't know anything about Denali, it was the end of their season, and we closed it down. The last night we were there, we could only eat at the restaurant in the hotel because it was the only thing open. So yes, it was. It was quite a treat. Quite a treat. The food was really good, and I'm just gonna tell you, I did try some crab. I just don't like seafood. It's nothing to do with it. Poor Evan didn't get his Evan. Poor Evan. Evan did not get his halibut, so I see. I feel kind of bad for him there. We just never ended up at a place that had it that he could get it. So that was kind of sad, but it's okay. It's okay. So definitely a difference in what is cold and what is not cold. And the prices of food. Lord have mercy, the price of food. You know, there was a few things that I noticed, and I don't even buy some of these things, but I did notice the Hot Pockets. There was an 8-pack, and I'm pretty sure you can buy that Hot Pockets 8-pack for less than $10 maybe. It's just 8 of them, maybe 11. Well, they were almost $18 there for an 8-pack. And the Sprite for a 20-ounce bottle, the 20-ounce bottles, those? It was $3.94. $3.94 for a 20-ounce bottle of Sprite. And deodorant, I ended up using his the last day because deodorant was almost $10 for the same stuff you get here for 5. It was crazy, and I understand they have to ship everything over, but Lord have mercy. I don't know if I could afford to live over there, if you know what I mean. Yep, there it is, if you know what I mean. But it was a beautiful place, and got to meet a lot of the natives there. And I mean, if I had to live there, I could, but I wouldn't want to live in Anchorage. I'd have to live more like in Girdwood or something way out to where I don't really want nobody to like go, oh my gosh, who lives there? No, that's not what I want. That's not what we have. Nope. But it was a nice place to visit. So would I recommend it? Absolutely. Recommend every bit of it. And that train to Denali, it was a long train ride, like almost 8 hours, but it was so beautiful. Uh, we got to see snow tops. We got to see the waterways. Oh my Lord, the rivers that they have along that trip to Denali was amazing. Uh, I was more amazed with some of the waterways than some of the mountains. It was so beautiful and so crazy. So definitely go. Fly up there. Fly up to Anchorage. Do it. You only live once. Go out and do something. Let's agree that we're going to go out and do something instead of just no, I don't really want to do anything. Let's get out there and fucking do things and enjoy it. Enjoy what we do, you know? Yeah. And that's Alaska. And just between us, getting married, I did not have cold feet. I did not really have cold feet. I did want just the justice of the peace. And so there was almost too much, and it was just eloping. But, you know, after some flippity flops on Friday, no, that would be Thursday on September 12th. After a few flip flop flop please, we did say I do. It was beautiful. The sun was out. No rain on that day, on Friday the 13th. And the fact that he loves me enough to plan to marry me on my favorite day, Friday the 13th. Now, it will not be, my anniversary will not be on Friday the 13th every year. But in my head, I can think it's 13th. He married me on Friday the 13th, which is funny because I met my kid's baby daddy, my kid's my ex-husband on Friday the 13th. So, I got two great kids from him. So, not griping there. I'm thinking maybe Friday the 13th is my lucky day. Maybe the next Friday the 13th, I need to go buy some lottery tickets. Possibly. I think so. I think I've bought a couple of lottery tickets in my lifetime, but I have not. I don't think I bought not my mom and my daddy. I know they've spent a little money on the lottery, if you know what I mean. Uh, they like it. But the next Friday the 13th, I'm going to buy some lottery tickets. I'm going to do it. You know what? And if you want to email me some your lucky numbers, maybe I'll use them. Maybe we'll go in and go, I'll use your numbers too and see if we can win. Yeah. Remember that email. Thank God you're not my child podcast at yahoo.com. Yeah, let's get this lottery won, if you know what I mean. Yeah, just between us, we could be rich. And what would we do? Well, I don't know. I don't think I would do anything different if I won the lottery. I mean, Evan tends to like what he's doing. I don't know if he'd want to quit. There's the question. As long as he's wanting to keep doing what he's doing and helping people like he is, I wouldn't change much. I wouldn't worry about, my car payment because my car be paid off. Tell you that. But and we have 32 acres here, so I definitely have enough to maybe move my family closer, maybe a few more acres. That would be cool. Have family close. Okay. So, I really hope that I get this figured out to get I had to edit some stuff out and shit, and I should remember to put this shit on airplane mode or something because people try to call me. It's like Nobody calls me unless I'm trying to record or something. Okay, yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping I'm gonna figure this out today on how to make sure both of these go on one episode because it's gotta be some way to get both on this episode. Okay. So we're not gonna have a part 1 and part 2. We're not gonna do it this time. We're gonna figure this shit out. Okay. So we were talking about just between us. Moving farther away from my kids was rough. That was I was closer to my mom, but I was farther from my kids. And so that's been a tweaking to work out, but it's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. I haven't seen my daughter and my son in quite a while. My son's much farther away. I've got a plan. He's 12, 14 hours away, maybe more. So, yeah, a little harder to go see him. So, I'm hoping next summer maybe. So, yeah. So, we met a few people on in Alaska, most of them on the train to Denali, and we met a couple that, were from Washington State, I believe, and they were, retired from the forestry. They were, rangers, forest rangers, and so some of the questions we had around on the train to the trees, kind of trees and plants and stuff, man, did we have the upkeep on that. They were a pretty cool couple. Talking to them about things that they did for their work and the mountains, and it was crazy. But it was so cool to listen to them and the knowledge they have because I don't have that knowledge, if you know what I mean. Oh, there it goes again. If you know what I mean. So, yeah. And then if you listen to a lot of the conspiracy theories out there, and some of them you just listen to, uh, the flat earthers are one. I'm sorry if you are. If you are, you are. Be you, do you. But I still might be going, what the fuck are they thinking? You know what I mean? But there's one out there that's conspiracy theory that Alaska, not Alaska. Beep, beep, beepity bop, boo, let's do that again. And Australia is not real. Well, we met two couples from Australia. So, and I kind of mentioned, well, I did mention it to both of them just because I think it's hilarious. And a lot of people haven't heard about it. And so one of them was like, I talked to them on the way there and on the way back. They said that they did search that and that it's hilarious that people think that. So, yeah, we met some really cool people on the train and some really cool workers too. There's a lot of people that go over there to Denali and Anchorage and all and work in the tourist industry. And one of them, he said, they go to cooljobs.com, I think it was, and they find jobs pretty much anywhere. One of our Mike. That's what I said. Mike. That was his name. He was one of our tour guides going up into Denali, and real knowledgeable guy, really nice guy. Uh, Went to describe where goats were on a mountain, and the mountains are really, 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 really big. And I thought, oh, he probably should be teaching preschool because he's talking to a whole busload of old people. Because let's get real, I'm thinking I was 55 was one of the young ones. And he's going, okay, go look up there, up on the mountain. You see where the gray rocks are. Okay, go right over. Do you see where the purple flowers are? Okay, go down, go to those rocks and go over about 10 feet and then go right there. And you see those right things? Those are sheeps. Those are sheep laying down. It's hard to see that they are, but that white's not snow, it's sheeps. Okay, that was pretty good. Pretty good, Mike. That was really good. I might have made fun of him that night to Evan, talking about, well, you can see it. You can see it right over there. You see those shadows right there. I might have done that night. But you got to do what you got to do, Mike. But he does tour guides on right there in Denali, and then he was flying over to the big land of Hawaii, the main one, and he does tours over there the other part of the months. And I'm thinking, Yes. Yes, please. So if you have no kids and nothing holding you back, maybe you should check out cooljobs.com. Just saying. Because if I just didn't get married and if I like didn't have really anywhere to go, I'm going to tell you one thing. I'd be going somewhere for a cooljobs.com, if you know what I mean. So yeah, if you know what I mean. And there it is. I truly hope I get this all worked out and it's on one episode. I truly hope that is today. But I get to end this one recording and I get to go to the dentist. So that's why we had to squeeze this one out so I wouldn't come back going, I'm sorry you can't understand me, but I had some work done on my mouth. You know what I mean? We don't want that. We don't want that. Sometimes the sound's rough enough, so we sure the fuck don't want that. So, anyway, I think I've told you everything I know and more. So until next time, thank God you're not my child.